Hey y'all, welcome to Convos with Bree. This is day 9, and I'm going to keep this one a little short today. But I want to talk about one thing that has completely changed my life, and I'm sure this will not be the only time that I am talking about this, but being your own best friend, being a better best friend to yourself, truly treating yourself with the love, kindness, empathy that you provide for your favorite people on the planet. That is the quickest and most surefire way that I have found to truly change your life. And it's not just how you treat yourself, although that is the foundation. If you don't treat yourself well, if you are kind to other people and anyone can show up to you with anything and you can be supportive and loving and caring and all of these things for them, but you don't do that for yourself, you will feel a disconnect always. Even if you're unaware of it, it will still exist within. It will influence your exterior surroundings. It will influence your thoughts, your actions, your feelings of self-worth. It will allow your fears and your defenses and your hurt to take the wheel of the car more often than not if you treat yourself poorly on the inside. If you push things off and pretend that you're not feeling them, it will go right into your unconscious energy and create a war within. Because we can tell ourselves all we want, that we love ourselves and that we feel great about ourselves. But if we catch ourselves coming back to these feelings of lack, self-doubt, of am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? And we find ourselves overthinking about what just happened where we were or a conversation we just had. And we find ourselves spiraling in those thoughts. That is going to pave the way for how our unconscious energy feels about ourselves. And the thing about unconscious energy is we can't really know what's in there until we're willing to be honest with ourselves and meet what it is we store there. So we can lie to ourselves all we want, but it doesn't make it true. And it will show up all over our lives. And I've started enhancing this theory, and I've been bridging a gap in my relationships. And I noticed something. A lot of people get nervous around famous people. And a lot of people can't be real with friends of theirs that are now famous, or they're gaining popularity, gaining traction. And if they never knew them, they look to them almost like in a God sense. They look at them like they know them better than they do. And I have never felt the same way other people feel about famous people. Famous people feel like strangers to me, or they feel like just somebody that I was destined to know. And I approach them the same way that I would approach anyone in life. They don't feel any different to me. But to most of the world, they feel incredibly different. Some people are extraordinarily judgmental against them. They resent them. Some love them. Some put them on a pedestal. To me, they're just regular people who are really great at expressing their art form, their gift, their natural talent that comes through, or they've worked very hard to hone skills and take them on this path. I see all the human nature though. So that is unfazed for me. However, on the flip side of that, the people that I love the most are the ones that I treat the way that other people treat celebrities. They are the ones that can make me feel starstruck and not know what to say or be nervous about what I'm about to say because they have the power to hurt me. They have the power to leave me. They have the power to be upset with me and trigger me and make me feel things that I don't necessarily want to feel. And so I have a harder time sometimes talking to my closest people than I would a stranger because I am scared of the uncomfortable conversations at times. Even to this day, it is harder for me to work with somebody that I have a connection to, like a deep connection to, than it is somebody that I do not. And I have been thinking about this a lot, and I've been changing these relationships because I used to freeze. I used to feel too scared to say what I was really feeling or to have the hard conversations because I was too afraid of what may happen if I bring up the uncomfortable thing. And they have a lot of power to break my heart. They have a lot of power to not receive it well, and that would devastate me. And I didn't want to keep feeling that. I wanted to have deeper relationships with the people that I love. I wanted to get over my fear of, the things that were keeping me walking on eggshells. So I started bringing this best friend energy everywhere and treating it as if it's meant for me, I'll be able to have these conversations. And if those conversations don't go well and they need space from me, then I need to be able to allow that also. I have to be able to not let that hurt me and understand more deeply that things will shake out how they need to in this space. Things will work out. They always do. Things lead where they're supposed to. And I just really started trusting the journey. And I started having the hard conversations. I started getting very honest and vulnerable in the spaces that made me the most uncomfortable. And magic just started happening. The connections deepened. The conversations landed. And we both walked away feeling better every time I did this. And I realized how much I was missing out on by holding back. But the reason that I do that is because a lot of times when you have the hard conversations, resistance comes up and defense comes out. And when they would be defensive or reactive towards what we were chatting about, it would trigger my own defense, my own past experiences. And it was really hard not to want to defend, not to feel afraid all the way down in my core. Love is very powerful. Love has the ability to make things incredibly scary because you understand that you have a lot to lose. And it can blind you to things. It can just, the emotions around love can make things so cloudy. And I didn't want love to feel controlling anymore. I didn't want anyone to feel like my love was controlling. I didn't want to feel that from anyone either. And I wanted to find a bridge between love and these emotions. And I found it in the best friend atmosphere, the best friend energy. Anyone that comes back defensive or reactive, I say out loud, we are best friends. You are not trying to hurt me. I am not trying to hurt you. What is this really about? And I look at when humans become defensive, I no longer take things personally. I have learned along this journey how to take that personal hurt and no matter how much they're saying, it might even be me. It's never what it is. It's a mask. It's hiding their core hurt, the thing that needs to come to life, that needs out. And the more defensive I became, the less I could hear what they were really saying. They might feel as though they are attacking me. They may even be saying things that make that true, that back up that they are in fact attacking me. But the more I can take my personal feelings out of it, the better we can actually get to what's wrong, what's been going on. And every single time that this has happened, it's never been about me. In fact, the more obvious it seemed that it was about me, was the more obvious it became it wasn't at all. It was like a distraction to keep us from what was really happening. And I didn't start having these huge breakthroughs with myself, with my people, with the people that I have these convos with and I do work with. I wasn't making these giant breakthroughs until I was able to depersonalize all the attacks. And I became a mirror. I started to understand that every single thing that was being thrown at me was something that they felt about themselves. And another part about this that was really cool is that if something lands on me and it hit me a little bit and it was a little harder for me to not make it personal or not get defensive about, I realized quickly that was because there was a truth that resonated internally with myself. And sometimes that truth was real and it was something that I needed to change and something I needed to bring awareness to. And other times it was things that I had been hurt by in the past that I needed to let go of because now I was understanding this was just their way of actually trying to be seen and heard. It just wasn't a healthy way to do it, but they didn't know any other way. And they had developed this pattern around it. And the more that I reacted like the rest of the world reacted, the more it sealed in that whatever they were feeling just was never going to heal or be seen or heard. The more further away from connection they felt, the more they didn't believe that a bridge could be built, the less aware of themselves they were. And that was the opposite of what I wanted to do. And I realized I am paving a path that I have never seen. I am able to take myself out of this in ways that I have never seen people do. And I am able to hear differently and understand differently than I have ever seen done. Why am I resisting? Why am I defending? The truth can handle being questioned, but lies can't. Lies and the insecure places that live within us, they become defensive. They become resistant. True confidence in who you are and what you're doing and your own personal truth, those could be questioned all day. And it doesn't matter because the confidence is there to back it up. There are no holes or flaws in that kind of confidence. So defense really was just a tool to show me that there was inner work I needed to do. And so in the moment when I couldn't seem to remember that, I started just stopping everything, breathing and saying out loud, we are all best friends here. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody. And then I would breathe. And this beautiful thing started happening where when I said that out loud, whoever I was with, they agreed and they felt that and they took a breath. And then we came at this from another way. And that's where we made progress. That's where we were able to meet ourselves on a new level. That's where we were able to meet each other on a new level. That's where magic started happening. That's where the real growth was, the real change. The things that we were looking so desperately for just naturally started unfolding. And everything about life just started getting better. Everything. And confidence spilled over into every area. Things are not meant to be easy. And the pieces of us that we are the most passionate and purposeful about, those are going to challenge us the hardest because they need to teach us so many sides and so many things about each and every piece of this that we are supposed to go through and learn and understand so that we can do what we're actually here to do with it. We can't build with no understanding. And in order to understand, we must go through things. We must make it through things we never thought we would. We must be uncomfortable and challenged and changed from these experiences. But it's all about what we do with them. It's all about our reactions, our thoughts, our emotions, and in real time, staying present, not going all the way back, not jumping ahead to the future, but staying in right now, in this moment, what is true. In this moment, how can we bridge this gap? In this moment, how can we put our defenses down? How can we take the personal attack off of this so that we can actually communicate? You are my best friend. You are never trying to hurt me. That's you and you. That's you and others. Bring that best friend energy to every piece of your life. And if something isn't fitting that best friend energy, it's time to evaluate why. Maybe it's time for some space. Maybe it's time for some uncomfortable growth. But anyone and anything that feels like a best friend, that's a place you want to keep showing up at. That's a place you want to keep in your life. That's a place that you want to love more and grow deeper. And those are the places that make it so special to be alive. So I challenge all of us to try to bring more of that best friend energy into our lives, within, externally, everywhere. Let me know what you think. Let me know what it changes. And remember, y'all, nothing that is meant for you will miss you.